Hello, Scorpio rising and Scorpio moon people. This is your weekly astrological and card horoscope for the week starting May 29th, 2017. And a quick reminder for you Scorpio people out there, remember, if you ever want to get a session with me, you do need to go to my website, integrativemysticism.com. So what's going on with your astrology this week? Well, this week we've got a very polar week. In the beginning of the week, we've got a rough spot on Monday. Mars, planet of action, energy, and conviction in your 8th house of shared resources, passive income, and intimacy, is forming an opposition to Saturn, currently retrograde in your 2nd house of earned income. And there may be a bit of an interesting challenge going on in schedule availability when you have an opportunity to make some extra money, but it comes into conflict with the work schedule that you have right now. Now the problem with this is a short-term window. This is not a new job. But this may be a huge project. This may be a huge affair that, does actually pay out quite a bit, more than you normally would in your monthly take-home. But it's going to compete with the job priorities and obligations that you have. Now, you might not necessarily be able to have your cake and eat it too. So, if you let this temptation pass you by and play it safe, that's okay. If you decide to take the risk, just pay attention. Remember, this is something that was not meant to stay around forever. If you can make it work, I would recommend it. If you can do both, do it. But just be careful with that. So what's going on with Wednesday then? Because that's the other day. We have Mercury, planet of communication, haste, and all of that good stuff in your 7th house of partnerships, forming a gorgeous connection to Pluto, currently retrograde in your 3rd house of communications. And there may be an interesting reconnect going on with an old friend, or a friend, or one of our closest one-on-one relationships may even bring us back in touch with an old opportunity to reconnect with them, or an old adventure, or an old pastime that we used to have. And it may be exactly what the doctor orders to get, ordered for you. Remember, your 7th house is all about your closest one-on-one relationships, your best friend, BFF, business partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, and roommates, whatever. So you've got this reconnect going on here, and this reunion, it's almost like this is either the person or the activity that has been missing from your life. Whatever influence they always had. So what's going on with your cards? Let's find out. Well, for your spiritual advice, we do have the card of Salu, the card of vitality, energy, and health. And this week it's going to be important to pay attention to what is healthy and what is not healthy, and to monitor the health of everything as though, it did kind of have a little life meter, a little health meter on it. When we talk about different relationships that we have, we talk about jobs that we have, we talk about our physical health. How do we monitor the health? What's healthy? What is healthy? Is this relationship I'm in healthy? Maybe it's not one you're in, maybe you're witnessing the health between others. Wow, how healthy is the relationship between my kids? How healthy is my relationship between my spouse and his father? How healthy is, you want to keep an eye on those things and actually really pay attention. Because the health is also about proximity, whether something's healthy or not healthy. Whether we're helping it be healthier or taking our space from things, it does change the health of everything else around it. And making sure that we can maintain healthy atmospheres, a sense of sanctuary, is very important in these areas. Now that doesn't mean if somebody has a less than healthy relationship with, say, a relative or a friend or something like that, that they're a bad person or they should be judged or shunned. No, absolutely not. You're not judging something simply by observing it, acknowledging it, and refusing to be in denial. But what happens is that we, need to pay attention on how to either make it healthy or maintain the health of everything around it in response to it. And that's always something to think about. So what's going on with your Earth sector? Well, with your Earth sector, when it comes to your work and finances, okay, we've got the Death card reversed. Alright, so this is not necessarily a bad card, but again, it's basically time to pay attention to where, again, an old opportunity or something that we used to love is put on the table for us, but it's not necessarily something we can keep at the same time as what we have already right now. This could be good news for those of you that are looking for a huge jump off, but be careful, sometimes these things don't really pick up traction for a while, so are we ready to make that transition right away? The Death card reverse can indicate a need to pay attention to balance as well. Some of you may be thinking about leaving a job that you're at, but how long have you been there? Have you really given it the chance? The Death card reverse can show up for people who either A, take way too long to leave things they need to leave, or never actually stay and they're constantly leaving things just as soon as they get them. Now, the Death card reverse can indicate that, yes, an alteration may be absolutely necessary, but be careful about doing anything too hasty or too slow. The Death card reversed, honestly, can be very neutral. So this is one of those situations where I would recommend somebody watch the rising of their moon sign to be sure. And if you have any questions about how that all works, I do have a special video I put back on the suggested viewing page on the main page. You can check that out. But the Death card reversed here is saying that, again, if you're thinking about prematurely abandoning something for something else, don't. And I think that speaks a lot to that astrology that we talked about on the Monday. For your communications with air when it comes to your friends, your relatives, the others in your life, we've got the Magician card reversed. And this card can actually, show up where we need to acknowledge when somebody is either A, expecting us to do something that we cannot do, or B, trying to do something for us that they don't have the qualifications for. And this can be a hard conversation to have sometimes because, well, some people would rather go close to home, even if it was less, even though a person wasn't an expert, or they wanted you to do it because for personal reasons. Have you ever had those situations come up where it's like a lover or a friend or whatever, it's like, look, I'm not qualified to do this, or I don't think I can, maybe you should get somebody else, but I want you to do it. This can be a pressure, anyone, even adults, and I'm mostly speaking to adults when I do these videos, people do this sometimes. And you can't let yourself be coerced or guilted into doing something you're not going to do a good job on. And it might be a hard thing to do because, again, some people it's more about the esteem. They want the affection in that action. They don't necessarily care about whether you do a good enough job. So you can find something else to do for them instead. For your challenge this week with fire, we do have the Five of Swords upright. Maybe some challenges going on in terms of the fact that there is a fight, there is a confrontation that we do need to actually engage in. Unfortunately. But the thing is, Scorpio, you gotta know how to fight. And you're Scorpio, so you should. Fighting isn't about teaching somebody a lesson and getting revenge and, you don't fight to feel you're not fighting about your personal empowerment journey. Fighting is about learning to understand each other better or to stop something that's really dangerous from happening or continuing to happen, or something that's bad from having to continue to happen. You may hurt somebody's feelings by getting into a fight and being the reality check that they so sorely need. And the Five of Swords upright is saying, do you have the guts to do that? Because sometimes we don't want to do that. Sometimes we might feel like, oh my god, this person's got enough problems, let them live in their own little world. Well, maybe their own little world is the problem. They're crashing into everything on the road because they're in their own little world and they're not looking at the road. So, if you have to take care of that and look into that, don't be afraid. They may fight back, but it may be a fight you have to have. And you win. It's just, don't win the wrong way. That's the other part of it. For your emotions with water and your romantic life, we do have the Four of Wands reversed. This is not a bad card to get reversed. This is actually a gorgeous card no matter what you do to it. Just don't tear it up. And the Four of Wands reversed is basically saying we're finally getting down to business on something that we know we've been tap dancing around for too long when it comes to love or a chemistry or a crush that's been on the table for a long time. So a lot of you single Scorpios, if you've been like, look, we've never really addressed it, but clearly there's some tension here, there's something going on, we have a chance to give this person a try. Alright? You may have never actually given this person a try before. You guys might be co-workers, you might be neighbors, you might just go to the same Starbucks, whatever. We're finally giving it a shot. We're finally giving it, we're kind of taking it for that spin. And the Four of Wands reverse says it could actually, turn into something more quite quickly. I mean, because if you're that familiar with each other, it may, it's going to be like going on date number 4 on date number 1. I don't know how fast you're going to go, though. For those of you who are currently coupled, the Four of Wands reverse carries the same kind of meaning. Of course, we're not doing it with other people. But with the Four of Wands reverse, this is talking about finally getting to work on something that the two of you have left as a pipe dream, something that you thought was not a reality. Something that you thought, you threw it as a wouldn't it be nicety. That's how I call it. And the Four of Wands reverse is saying, no, actually, something's going to come through that makes it actually a viable option, a viable opportunity. Whether it's extra money, whether it's the time, whether it's, maybe something changed in price, changed in availability, or your partner's, decided that they're damn convicted in doing it. This is where you have the opportunity to finally get that started. So what have you been trying to do with your partner? Whether it's changing something around the house, finally moving in together, whether it's, moving, whether it's, going on some kind of big dream vacation, you're finally actually putting the work into it instead of, again, keeping it as a little bit of a daydream fantasy. So that is your horoscope, Scorpio. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. You know I appreciate it. And of course, if you ever want to get a session, you can always follow the links below.